Jesus was cremated, it seems. Some people had moved Jesus' body from his tomb. On that first Easter morning, it was empty. His followers, like many of the bereaved, sensed, though, that their loved one was still with them, spiritually. Their experiences were vivid, but there's a dreamlike nature to the accounts of the resurrection. They don't at first recognize Jesus. He comes and goes magically in different forms, like a ghost, through doors and walls, and their accounts end imagining him flying skyward into the clouds to heaven. These were clearly spiritual experiences. Belief in the resurrection does not require his physical body, just as we, knowing our earthly bodies will decay or be cremated, believe we will receive new ones ready for heaven. But we're left with the puzzle of what happened to Jesus' body. One credible answer is that it was cremated. Roast lamb was eaten at the Passover meal, and all of the remains had, by law, to be burnt. At Passover, fires would have been kindled all around Jerusalem to cope with the number of pilgrims eating Passover lamb, and one substantial bonfire was in the Kedron Valley, just beyond the city walls, serving the temple. Jesus' sympathizers were also aware of the spirituality of the Essene community that disregarded a person's remains and instead focused on the immortality of their soul. They were also aware of the Akedah atonement tradition and linked Isaac bearing wood for his sacrifice to Jesus bearing his wooden cross, and the ram caught in the thicket, sacrificed and cremated instead of Isaac, to Jesus, the Lamb of God, caught in the thicket of his crown of thorns, sacrificed and cremated instead of his murderers. Cremation also prevented grave robbers, pilgrims and shrine tourists, for much money was to be made from the body of a miracle man, and his followers did not want Jesus' body to be violated in this way, as so many had been before him. The Kedron Valley fire was the perfect place to cremate Jesus, on which the remains of various sacrificial offerings from the temple burned there day and night. The ashes that were left, they were washed away by the torrential rains that seasonally fell, and this made the ground around immensely fertile, and the soil was sold to farmers that were able to produce bumper crops. Well, so too Jesus' followers. Knowing Jesus remained with them in spirit, as do all of our loved ones, they were inspired to continue his message of love and then reap the harvests of which Jesus had spoken. People transformed by love and committed themselves to love, playing their part in loving the world back to life.